Assalam. Alaykum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. My brother, my sister, if you are watching this video today, know one thing, it is not a coincidence. Stay until the end, because I am going to make a special prayer for you, so that the invisible wounds you carry may be healed by the light of Allah. Hold on tight, because what you are about to hear could be a direct answer to what your heart has been crying out for so long. They watched you fall. They thought you would stay down. They saw your name mixed with shame, slander, humiliation, and in their hearts they laughed. They thought that was the end of you. But what they didn't know is that you were never alone. What they didn't see is that behind this ordeal you were going through, Allah surrounded you with His protection, of His light and His justice. Chosen of Allah, yes, you. Even in the ugliness of what you went through, there was wisdom, a divine construction. Allah did not leave you alone in shame, for it wasn't your shame. This was their plan, their wickedness, their plan. And Allah allowed it to happen for a time, not to abandon you, but so that the world sees from what wood He fashioned your soul. You know what shocks them today? It's not that you survived that storm. It's that you came out stronger, calmer, brighter. Their confusion stems from the fact that they saw a broken person. But today, they see a stable heart, a gaze filled with peace, and a quiet strength they can't explain. And that strength is tafwi. It wasn't you who went through this ordeal. It is Allah who carried you. Remember that night when you cried alone, when you asked, Ya Rab, why me? That night, He heard you. He did not answer you with words, but with actions. He placed angels to surround your heart. He placed invisible wall between you and destruction. He said to you silently, be patient, my servant. I am with you. And that's what saved you. Not strength, not intelligence, not people, more Allah. So stay with me until the end. Because in the last minute of this video, I'm going to raise my hands and beg for you that this strength you feel now never leave you again. Because of what you experienced wasn't a punishment. It was a test, a choice, an honor hidden beneath the dust of injustice. And today, the dust is settling. They tried to turn you off, not once, not twice, but repeatedly, in backroom chats, in ironic glances, in sly allusions. They wanted your name to be tarnished, your face to be associated with something dirty, shameful. They did everything they could to make people reject you, to make you isolated, abandoned, ostracized, and you didn't understand. You said to yourself, but what did I do to deserve this? You looked up at the sky and you saw no answer. You felt so alone that even your reflection no longer seemed to recognize you. But what they didn't know was that with every word they spoke against you, Allah wrote a decree in your favor. For every humiliation they orchestrated, Allah placed a degree of elevation in your path. While they prepared their trap, the Most High was preparing your flight. We must not confuse the shame that people cast with that which Allah punishes. For you were not in evil. You were in trial. And whomever Allah tests, it is He whom He purifies. You know, sometimes Allah lets people's tongues lie about you, not to crush you, but to expose their hearts and prove yours. It lets some people imagine that they have won, that they have reached you, when in reality, they were just raising you up. You didn't respond to their attacks. You didn't shout your innocence to the wind. You remained silent. You kept moving forward, despite the stares. You took it upon yourself. Not because you were weak, but because you knew that your true defender, it was Allah Himself. And that silence was a strength, a submission, a certainty. Remember the words of the Prophet Bound. Whoever humbles himself for the sake of Allah, Allah will exalt him. Muslim. They wanted to shame you in front of people, but Allah chose to honor you in front of the angels. It is not their opinion that matters. It is the gaze of Allah. And when you were lying on the ground, your heart heavy, your chest tight, it is Allah who saw you. He saw your calm. He saw your tears. He saw your restraint. And He decreed, "This is my servant, and I am his protector." Never believe that your silence was for nothing. Don't believe that your choice not to seek revenge, not to sully your case, was a loss. No. It was a proof that you belong to the chosen ones, those whom Allah protects, those whom Allah elevates, those whose inner light disturbs those who live in darkness. You weren't alone. Even though everyone turned their backs on you, even though you saw people you loved abandon you without explanation, even though those you helped turned a blind eye to your pain, Allah has never turned His back on you. He was there. Every moment. He counted the words that hurt you. He counted the steps you took despite the exhaustion. And He decided that this situation would not be your tomb, but your starting point. There is no shame when Allah holds your hand. There is no defeat when He writes your story. So hold your head high. You are not a victim. You are a servant of Allah who stood firm, despite the filth that was thrown at him. And what happens next is something they will never be able to predict. For Allah has not said His final word. You know what troubles them most today? It's not that you survived. It's not that you're still standing. It's the way how you did it, with grace, with song, with a dignity they don't understand. Because in reality, they had never seen anyone like you, someone who is not crushed by the test, but shaped. Someone who doesn't react to dirt with dirt, but with light. They expected you to scream, to explode, to collapse, to respond with fire. And yet, you chose water. You chose gentleness. You chose patience. You chose Allah. And that, it shocked them. Your calmness has become a mystery. Your ability to smile, despite what you've been through, confuses them. How can you walk with such confidence after what they did to you? How can you speak with such peace when everything was done to break you? They don't know that your heart is anchored in Allah. They do not know that you have put your trust in the one who never sleeps. They do not know that every tear you shed has been transformed into light by your Lord. The Prophet said, "Know that with patience comes victory, and with trial comes deliverance, and with difficulty comes ease." Tirmidhi. You didn't just get through it. You transcended it. You came out of it, transformed, and what you've become now, it's not just a survivor. It's our model. A living proof that those who rely on Allah are never lost, even when everything seems to be falling apart. And what's even deeper is that you weren't just strong, you were elegant. You haven't lost your ethics. You haven't betrayed your character. You haven't chosen the easy way out of revenge, but the nobility of silence. And this silence, Allah heard it, He saw it, He honored it, He made it a light in your eyes, a presence in your walk, a peace in your heart. Do you realize the value of what you have done? Do you understand that you have walked the path of the prophets? For they too were humiliated, betrayed, smeared, accused. And yet, they never betrayed their mission. They held on, as you hold on today. Yusuf, alayhi salam, imprisoned for a crime he never committed, remained upright. Not a complaint, not an accusation against Allah. And when the time came for his release, Allah raised him above all. You're on this same path. You don't need to be justified. You don't need people to apologize. Your soul is already justified by your Lord. And that's what they can't understand. You did not change to please them. You resisted to remain sincere to Allah. And now that they see you standing there, calm, serene, they don't know how to attack you anymore. Because there is nothing more powerful than a servant who has lost everything, and who continues to say, Alhamdulillah. So don't doubt anymore. Don't look back. It's no longer time to defend yourself. It's time to walk with the certainty that your strength has never been human. It has always been divine. They saw you walking down the street, as if nothing had happened. They saw you smile when they expected tears. But what they never saw is what you went through in secret. They know nothing of the silent nights when you cried on your pillow, your face turned towards the wall, your throat tight with injustice, your heart compressed by humiliation. They do not know that you cried out in your heart, "Ya Allah, will I hold out?" They do not know that you have been repeating the same dua over and over again, hoping that your Lord would hear you once, just once. And yet, He heard you. He heard you when you were speechless. He heard you when everything inside you was broken. He heard you when you said, in a barely audible voice, "I have no one left, Ya Rab. It's you or nothing." It is in these moments, in this absolute solitude, that your bond with Allah has strengthened. It was not in the spotlight that you drew closer to Him, but in the shadows, in the silence, in the darkness of the nights when no one knew you were breaking down. And that is where Allah honored you, not in public, but in the invisible. You thought that you were alone, but Allah was there. He looked at you, He counted your tears, and He turned them into a reward. There is no secret between three of which Allah is not the fourth. Surah Al-Mujadila 58:7. They have defiled you and you have washed your heart with dhikr. They tried to crush you and you got up again through sujud. They tried to make you out to be what you were not, and Allah revealed your true worth in silence. The truth is, you had to go through that pain, because it reconnected you with your Creator. Before you spoke to Allah, but after that, you lived with Him. You were no longer just asking. You began to depend on Him, like a child depends on his father's hand. You didn't even know how to live without that closeness. And that's what saved you. Not the way out of the crisis, not other people's excuses, but this intimate connection that you have rebuilt with your Lord. They will never know, but you know. There are injuries you can't explain, pains you can't share, trials that you have gone through without witnesses, except Allah. And that is enough for you. You don't need the world to recognize what you have endured. You know that Allah knows, and that is all that matters. Sometimes Allah cuts you off from everything so that you may return to Him. He lets people turn away, not to abandon you, but so that you turn your face only towards Him. And that's exactly what you did. You did not seek human justifications. You sought divine peace. You didn't ask to be defended. You asked to be understood up there. And Allah understood you. He comforted you. And above all, He protected you. For while they spoke of you, while they exposed your name with impurity, Allah erased their words in the celestial register and wrote in letters of light, "My servant has resisted. My servant has remained faithful." You thought this shame would follow you for the rest of your life. You thought what they said, what they implied, what they built against you would stick to you like an eternal label. But today, look at yourself. Look at what you've become. It's no longer their gaze that defines you. This is the light that Allah has placed in your soul. They never believed you were going to make it. They bet on your collapse. They bet on your fall, but they didn't understand one thing. When Allah supports a heart, no human being can destroy it. And what they see today is not a miracle that came out of nowhere. What they see is Allah's silent response to their plots. They are shocked by your tranquility. They do not understand that the one they tried to smear is today purer, more stable, stronger. How do you explain that your heart hasn't become bitter, that you haven't become resentful, that you can still smile even though your name has been dragged through the mud? It's simple. Allah has replaced the shame they wanted to impose on you with His peace. He took what people destroyed and He made it a foundation. See how He transformed humiliation into strength, loneliness into closeness, rejection into protection, and above all, her into wisdom. Allah has not only washed your image, He has purified your soul. He took the pain out of your heart and brought His light into it. And Allah is the protector of those who believe. He brings them out of darkness into light. Surah Al-Baqarah 257. They are lost because they see your calm as a contradiction. To them, someone who has been through what you have should be broken. And yet, you are standing. Not only standing, but you are stronger than before. You walk with a confidence that comes not from yourself, but from a deep secret. Now you know who you are to Allah. And that changes everything. You no longer need validation. You no longer wait for them to understand, to acknowledge, to apologize. You move forward because your heart is already healed. Their opinion? It no longer has any impact. Their judgment? It is no longer audible. Because what you feel today, it is the freedom of a heart that has been in the hands of Allah. And that is their greatest amazement. Your ability to forgive without weakness, to love without naivety, to move on without hatred. You're not pretending. You're truly at peace. Why? Because you understood that true justice is not that of people, it is that of Allah. And when He does you justice, no one can undo it. You live today in an elevation that no one can take away from you. You were formed by pain, but polished by divine wisdom. You have been through flames, but you have come out with an inner light that nothing can extinguish. And now it's up to you to continue this path. Not to get revenge, not to prove anything to them, but to honor the one who never let you down. Keep walking, keep moving forward. Because what you are experiencing is not the end of your story, but the beginning of something big. There is something this ordeal revealed in you, something even you had never truly appreciated. You didn't know how faithful you could remain to Allah even when everything around you screamed abandonment. You didn't know how strong your faith was until everything you knew began to crumble. The pain you went through wasn't just there to sadden or weaken you. It had a greater, more sacred purpose. It was a step in your shaping. It allowed you to see clearly, to see what was true, what was worthwhile, what brought you nothing. It shattered illusions, tore away dependencies, cut toxic ties. You became someone else, not someone tougher, no. Someone purer, someone more lucid, someone closer to Allah. In this ordeal, there was more than pain. There was subtle wisdom, spiritual training. Allah let you cross this desert, not to abandon yourself, but to reveal yourself. For in the suffering, your heart cried out louder. In the rejection, you heard His answer more clearly. In the emptiness, you discovered His presence. What people saw as collapse was actually transformation. Your silence was your armor, your patience was your sword, and your invocation, your true battle cry. You have been forged by the ordeal, not to stay down, but to rise up with more meaning, with a renewed awareness. You have learned to no longer run after what hurts you. You have understood that everything you thought you were losing was sometimes what Allah wanted to take away to preserve you. You are no longer the person you were before. You are freer, more truthful, stronger inside. What you have experienced has not destroyed your faith. It has refined it. It has refocused it on what is essential. You no longer depend on looks. You no longer seek validation. You seek only the face of Allah. And when this search becomes your sole driving force, then nothing can truly destroy you. They tried to extinguish you, but it was in the darkness that Allah blew on the inner light you had almost forgotten. Today, This light is bright. It does not shout. It does not boast. But it shines. And it lights your path, even when the world remains dark. You do not need their gratitude. You know what you have endured. You know who helped you survive. You know who cleansed you of this shameful ordeal and brought you back to your feet. It is this knowledge that makes you a chosen one, a heart apart, a witness to Allah's mercy. What you have been through cannot be fully described in words. There are pains that cannot be expressed, silences that speak louder than 1,000 explanations. You have seen walls close in on you, faces change, hearts turn away. And yet, somewhere in this desert, you crossed. A door opened, discreetly, silently, out of sight. This door was Allah's. He called you. He drew you to Himself with a gentleness that only you could feel. And now that you are on the other side of this pain, you understand that everything you have experienced was not a punishment but a hidden elevation. You are one of those whom Allah has chosen to experience this kind of trial. Not because they are weak, but because they are capable of growing through it. You have been through something disgusting, yes. You have tasted injustice, slander, rejection, loneliness. But in that darkness, Allah has instilled in you a light that no one can now extinguish. That is why people no longer understand you. That is why they are shocked by your strength. For they thought you would collapse. But Allah knew that you would reveal yourself. You can't live the way you used to. You've changed. Your outlook on life has changed. Your relationship with your Lord has changed. And it's for the better. Because now you know what to hold on to. You know what's true, what's fragile, what's toxic. You move forward with a stronger heart, a more awakened mind, a more conscious faith. What you've learned in this suffering is worth more than anything they've tried to take from you. You've reclaimed what many never find. A real connection with Allah, pure love, unconditional trust. And that's a treasure no one can take away from you. So now, let me do what I promised you. Lift up your hands with your heart and listen to this prayer as if it were for you alone. Ya Allah, you who see hidden pains and deep silences, you who know the humiliations that no one guesses, I beg you for my brother, for my sister who is watching this video. Soothe his heart, heal his wounds, purify his past, raise him up where people wanted to bring him down. Put a light where there was darkness. Grant him a peace that nothing can disturb. Give him a strength that depends on no one. Make him an elevated, wise person close to you. And above all, Ya Rab, honor him after the ordeal, as only you can do. May he be a sign among the signs of your mercy. Amen. You no longer need to wait for people to honor you. Your honor is already written in the invisible. And what you are experiencing now is the beginning of something even you could not have imagined. Move forward. The shadow is behind you, and the light is before you.